Hello viewers, welcome to the Psychometric Solutions. Today we will talk about how to code and record data in the SPSS software. The data entry and coding is a preliminary procedure which should be carried out before the final analysis of the data. And in order to carry out this procedure, one must understand what is a data and what are the types of the data and what are the steps which should be carried out to enter the data into the SPSS. So before entering the data into the SPSS, let us discuss the data typology. We have four types of data, as you can see here. One is the nominal, other is the ordinal, then we have the interval and ratio data. The nominal data is a simple data which is called the categorical data, while the ordinal data is that which has categories and has an order. The interval data is that which has a category, order as well as a distance, while the ratio data is that which have the all three characteristics, that is category, order, distance and unique origin. So this was about the quantitative data typology. We also have qualitative data, which is also called string data, which can also be entered into the SPSS. The simple examples of these four data types include gender. Gender is a nominal data, so being a male or a female, if you have a such kind of a data, that is called a nominal data. Then we have a ordinal data. So the Likert scale is one of the best example of ordinal data, in which there is a quantum of, let's suppose, strongly agree to strongly disagree, 1 to 5 quantum. And then we have interval data. The simple example of interval data is age. So we have different age categories. Let's suppose age of 18 to 20 years. So there is an interval of 2 years. And then we have a ratio data like the weight. A person has a weight. So the weight in kg or in pound, that is called a ratio data. So one must memorize these steps before practically moving towards entering data into the SPSS. That is, he or she must click on the variable view. We have two views. So clicking on the variable view and then look at these columns. The first column is about the name, where you enter the name of the variable, and then the second column is about the variable type, which type of data you want to enter. Either it's a qualitative data or it's a quantitative data, and then you give a label, the detailed label. The difference here between the name and label is that in the label you can enter the detail. Let's suppose there is a item in a questionnaire and the item has a statement, so in the label you can enter the whole statement. And then we have the values which you can enter according to the data type. And in the last we have the measure, and that is you select the data type, either it's a nominal data, it's a scale data, or it's a ordinal data. So before entering the data into the SPSS, you all must memorize these steps, these 5 steps. So now so here we have the SPSS, and as you can see, it has two views. One is the data view, while the other is the variable view. So to enter the data into the SPSS, we need to go into the variable view, and we can enter the data according to the type of the data. As I mentioned previously, we have 4 types of data. One is the nominal data, other is the ordinal, then interval and ratio data. So here we practice on entering different types of data into the SPSS. So starting from the nominal data, as I mentioned previously, the nominal data is the simple categorical data which has no order or distance or interval or absolute value. So gender is the example of the nominal data. So here in the name, we write the name of the variable, that is gender, and then we decide whether it's a numeric or a string data. As it's a numeric data, so we click on the numeric. Normally the SPSS by default here mention the numeric. So the data is numeric, and here we write the label. Let's suppose within your questionnaire you have given the following statement about the gender, that is, what is your gender. So after writing the label, then we enter the values. Now here you have to decide that what kind of coding you do, as this is male and female, so we can enter the binary codes, that is, let's suppose 0 for the male while 1 for the female. So after adding this, we click on the OK, and then we come to the measure. As it's a nominal, so we click on the nominal. So this is how we have entered the nominal data into the SPSS. You go into the data view. Here you can enter the data questionnaire wise. Like, let's suppose you have collected a data from 50 respondents. So the first respondent is either a male or a female. Let's suppose if it is a male, you enter here 0. So this would be your first entry. So now let's come to the ordinal data. Let's suppose you have the questionnaire on motivation. So the first one statement S1, and again it's numeric. So the S1 says, are you motivated? So here, let's suppose you are entering the Likert scale, you are following the Likert scale. So Likert scale is on the quantum of 1 to 5. So here 5 is for strongly agree. Since you are measuring the motivation level, so that's why you enter the strongly agree and code it as a 5. Then the 4 for agree, then the 3 for neutral, and 2 for disagree, and 1 for strongly disagree. You can even revise this coding, but it depends on what you are measuring. And then here you choose the ordinal. So let's suppose you also want to enter an interval data. Let's suppose that now let's come to entering the interval data. I mentioned previously that we have data that has a interval is called actually the interval data. So let's suppose age. A respondent's age is a typical interval data. So here in the name I mention the age, and then here what the label you want to give. Let's suppose you have asked in your questionnaire a question, what is your age? So here there are two options. Either you directly write the age of the person, let's suppose 22 years, or let's suppose 30 years, the first one respondent, which has the age of 30. So this is the first way. The other way is that you code the data, the age related data, and you code it in a such way that you make different intervals, different age categories. So let's suppose one for the age category of 20 to 25 years, two for the age category of 26 to 30 years, three for the age category of 31 to 35 years, and so on. So here you mention the scale. The SPSS by default has three options. One is the ordinal, other is the nominal, and the scale. So the interval data is here mirrored as a scale. So here in the data view, you can mention one or two or three, depending on whatsoever is the age of the respondent. Now come to the ratio data. Let's suppose weight. Weight is the ratio data. The example of the ratio data is the weight. So you are also measuring the weight of a person. So here in the label you write what is your body weight. Again, you have two options, either mentioning the weight directly here, let's suppose 70, that is 70 kg, or the other option is that you code it. So the one is for the quantum of, let's suppose 50 to 60 kg, and 2 is for 61 to 70 kg, and so on. So depending on what the respondent has mentioned in the questionnaire, you choose the code. Let's suppose the respondent has mentioned that his weight is, let's suppose, within the weight category of 60 to 70 kg. So you write here the 2. And here, this was about the ordinal scale. So we have the quantum of 1 to 5. So let's suppose the respondent has clicked on strongly agree. So you mention here 5. So this is how you can